Hi, everybody. Are we all gathered here? We're ready? I love that. Thank you. So my name is Taylor Ward. I'm the Director of Engagement and Outreach for the Maine College of Engineering and Computing. And I'm excited to announce our speaker, the inaugural Dean of the Maine College of Engineering and Computing, Dr. Giovanna Guidoboni. She graduated from the University of Ferrara in Italy with a PhD in mathematics and a master's in engineering of materials before joining the University of Maine. I missed the PhD in mathematics. I was going to say I'm missing one here. Before joining the University of Maine in 2023, she served on the faculty at the University of Houston, Indiana University, Purdue University Indianapolis, Université de Strasbourg in France, and the University of Missouri. Her research focuses on mathematical modeling and data science applied to engineering and life sciences. Dr. Guidoboni collaborates with many colleagues nationally and internationally in areas such as ocular blood flow and risk factors associated with ocular diseases, function of the lower urinary tract, and non-invasive health monitoring. Her research has been funded by the National Science Foundation, the National Institute of Health, and the European Commission. She's a member of the European Academy of Sciences and Arts and the co-founder of Modeling and Artificial Intelligence in Optometry publication journal, an international peer-reviewed interdisciplinary journal for which she serves as the co-editor-in-chief and managing editor. She's also the founder of G-Space, a consulting company providing modeling and computational solutions for complex problem in engineering and life sciences. When she's not doing that, she is building bridges and connecting people, and it's been such a privilege to be a part of this team. And with that, I want to introduce Dr. Giovanna Guidoboni.
Thank you, Taylor, and thank you for being here. I came back from vacation yesterday, so I am very energized. I don't work in transportation, but actually, in a sense, I do. My research, as you heard, is about blood flow and studying the cardiovascular system and how blood and nutrients arrive to the eye and then how they are drained. And actually, there is a lot of similarities between what happens in the human bodies, how things are transported in different ways when they are needed and how they are removed, as well as, like, for example, in materials and self-healing asphalt, for example. A lot can be learned from wounds and so on. So what intrigues me is like the fundamental concepts that we can learn from nature, transported to engineering and vice versa. And well, this is actually what brought me here, and this idea of creating this College of Engineering and Computing, bridging disciplines, as you are doing in the field of transportation. So I only have a few slides. First, 2 slides about numbers, just to give you a sense about the University of Maine and the Maine College of Engineering and Computing. So the University of Maine, since I know that we have guests from outside university, it is good to remember we are a land, sea, and space grant institution, and very proud to be R1 in a way that really connects research and learning. So I am very happy that many of the innovations that are discussed at the conference had students part of it, and then taking them off in the industry and in the economy. So we really strive to be a learner-focused R1 university where research, innovation, and technology are important, as well as the people that actually learn the skills and advance them. So the university as a whole has around 11,000 students. As you see, they come from all the states and countries. Here in comparison is the size of our college. So in white is the University of Maine, and in blue is the Maine College of Engineering and Computing. So pretty wide representation in terms of states and countries, and overall in terms of research awards, students, program, and faculty, we are around 1/4 of the university. And really, I am amazed by the growth, especially in the research awards that we had that are really leading the university as well as the state. So I don't know if you heard about UMS Transforms, but it is a pretty big deal. It is the name of an initiative, a grant, that is supported by 320 million investment from the Harold Alton Foundation to actually transform the way in which UMS, which is the University of Maine system, views and implements and act on research and learning across the state. And actually, this is a matching grant. So we are on our way to raise 320 millions so that overall the University of Maine system will have over $500 million to actually be serious about transforming itself. So this grant has 4 main buckets. And you see that the Maine College of Engineering and Computing is one of those. The others being UMaine Athletics, the Maine Center, and student success and retention. So a big chunk of the investment of UMS Transforms has been to actually create, and create means that there was not before, which is not true, but is leading the change of engineering and computing at the University of Maine to create a statewide hub across the whole 7 campuses of the University of Maine system, so that collaborations in all engineering and computing disciplines can really lead the change and support the growth of the economy. Of course, it is nice to have all those millions. They also come with a clear expectation to double the degrees that we grant in engineering and computing by 2032. So achieving ×2 is not easy. And this goes through intentional initiatives for recruitment, enrollment, as well as retention. So it is interesting that the ×2 is not just in the enrollment, just how many people we have here, but it is in how many degrees we are gonna grant, which means that it is not just to recruit people and do some head counts and be nice on numbers, look good on numbers. It is actually to graduate professionals that then will actually lead the change in the economy. And so the student success and retention, so meeting students where they are, helping them succeed without lowering the standards, because we know that in our discipline, you need to know what you're doing, because otherwise the impact is pretty sour. So we need to inspire, create, and lead. So, which is basically what you are talking about here, and how to innovate, how to bridge the future. And indeed, there are many changes that we are experiencing, the environment, the advent of AI, a lot of technologies that were not here just a few years ago, and now everything is changing. And so by the way, I told you that I am in my research is related to human health. And so also AI is transforming completely ophthalmology, which by the way is a field that is all based on imaging. And so I have these slides because many times through innovation kind of go through these 3 stages. I don't know where you feel you are, but when there is something new, first there is derision, like, what do you think you're doing? It is just crazy. And then when people start to understand, then there is the opposition. And then finally it is just accepted as normal. And by the way, this is not from me. It is a famous German philosopher that broke it down this way. And it is at least helpful to remind myself some of the innovations that went through those stages, like the umbrella, the light bulb, the calculator, the internet. And so it is good to persevere, because otherwise we would not be using things that are making our life easier every day. And so personally, I feel that AI, among other things, is one of these innovations that will not go away, but we need to understand how to use it, and also how to train, the workforce now and in the future, and also those people that are already out there, how to use technology in a way that is meaningful, intentional, and to recognize the limitations and where the problems are. So, in a nutshell, I feel like the mission of our college and this statewide hub for engineering and computing that we are creating is really to connect science, technology, and people. Because even the best science and the best technologies, if they are not connected with the end users, or if the impact is not clear, then it is gonna be kind of let be without actually being used. So here I have just a few slides with examples, and I know that you have heard a lot about the bridges, so I don't need to talk about that, but indeed we are bridging technology and people. Advanced manufacturing and robotics is a really a growing theme that is cross-cutting the college. We have recently opened Potloft, which is a new space on the second floor of the Advanced Manufacturing Center building. And actually we have their students who are trained professionally on how to use these robots. And you know, as you know, in the Advanced Structures and Composite Center, there are Guinness World Records on the largest 3D printers in the world. And at the same time, we are also hosting, we started last year, an annual event for VEX Robotics on campus, bringing high school students from across the US, Canada, and Mexico to compete on robotics competition. And we also had summer camps on robotics. And so the point is, in advanced manufacturing and material and related to transportation, there is so much that can be explored at the intersection of technology, AI, and what I find is that actually the young minds are already playing with robots, and it is just to keep their curiosity alive and show them different applications, where what they are already doing could actually have an impact. Understanding human movement and impact. And in particular, when extreme weather occurs or other situations, predicting or anticipating and preparing for movement of people and goods is extremely important. So this is where data and computational modeling integrated with physical infrastructure is so important. And that is also where I feel very connected with this field, even though I work on something else, because when I look at this slide, it reminds me of the oxygen that needs to go to certain tissues and then a backup plan and so on. So I am very passionate about trying to transfer knowledge also across fields, because I think that once we frame the problem, we could find solutions in areas that maybe we would be surprised about. Extreme weather, also other areas of importance for our college, is the assessment of damage, for example, after an hurricane, as well as mitigation strategies before this or after these things occur. AI in the driver's seat, they already heard from Rick, I guess. So it is pretty amazing, as we were mentioning, connecting science, technology, and people, like how do you feel when you are sitting in a vehicle that is driven by AI, and how is that affecting your decisions? And again, trying to bring the end users into the conversation to make sure that the solutions that collectively we come up with are actually benefiting our cities and our people. Forest GPT and digital mapping apparently doesn't have anything to do with transportation, but actually the background framework based on AI, merging data from different fields and different technologies and natural language processing to basically decode the information and arrange it in a single data set, are those methodological developments that I think would be very useful also in your area, which, by the way, I am simplifying because you are working on so many different areas also within transportation. So I think that a similar kind of networking of data and information would be very valuable. And finally, I told you about the K-12 engagement. Taylor is our director of engagement and outreach. I started by telling you the kind of the metric of the goal for that UMS Transforms grant, which is double the degrees that we grant. There is no way that we can achieve that if we don't inspire more young people to actually try to see themselves as future engineers and computing professionals. The fact is that that could mean so many different things to different people. And so what we are doing is actually developing modules, activities, camps, opportunities from students from elementary to middle to high school to experience what it could be being an engineer. So if you are interested in contributing with some modules related to transportation in various aspects, we would love to do that. We already have things like in cellulose and in math applied to the eye. You can imagine where that comes from. But the best thing, if you are passionate about what you do, then the people that you share your passion with will also feel it. Like maybe like, I don't know exactly what you're doing, but it feels that you like it. And that is how we can inspire more people to join us. Other ways in which that grant that I talked about is helping us is, for example, providing seed grants to support like small scale projects that actually have the potential to grow into more collaborations and partnerships. We love collaborating across the college as well as with other institutions nationally and internationally. I will talk in a moment about the buildings. The workforce developments is related to partnership because one of the things that our students really are happy about here at UMaine is the opportunity for internships and co-ops, and also exchanging like times in different labs across different universities. So if anyone is interested in formalizing this kind of partnership, we would love to support you in that. And then this is actually my last slide, which is about the physical spaces. I mean, it is great to talk about all these ideas of collaboration and partnership and bridging AI with the lab and stuff. But if the spaces themselves are like closed rooms, like silos, and then the space needs to be conducive of the vision. And so that is another great area in which the UMS Transforms grant is helping us. So I think you have seen coming to campus a new building coming up. This is how it will look like, the GEM building, and inside there will be space for large manufacturing areas that you don't see here, but also hands-on laboratories for students to actually have fun and enjoy during their learning, how you can think about printing, new materials, new things. Those will also be connected with sensors that can detect, for example, temperature and shape. And in my dreams, a student studying calculus will be able to try to take an integral or a derivative of the data coming out of the temperature sensor of a 3D printer, then realize that actually the regularity of a function really matters when you want to compute a derivative, but not so much if you want an integral, things like that, so that you connect the basic knowledge with what it could bring to you, and then you can invent and explore from the very first year. This is the bot loft I was talking about. And the top left is a sketch of Borman Hall, which we are now designing its modernization. We like to call that, and not just renovation, because it is not just about bringing the structure or the systems up to date, but it is really modernizing it while keeping the character, and enable this convergence of disciplines. Civil and environmental engineering has its home in Boardman Hall and has historically been there for a long time. But Boardman Hall also has a truly unique position. Before I amend what I said, yes, civil and environmental engineering is there, but also the School of Engineering and Technology and the School of Computing and Information Science. But the building is also at the corner between the mall and Long Road, connecting it with Furlan. So I truly see it as really the entry point for all the engineering and computing district. And I think it is very exciting. We will work on the design. We are working on the design this year for construction to start the year after. So a lot of opportunities and exciting things happening on the learning side, the research side, and the building side. I am very happy that you're here, and I would love to hear now or later how we as a college and the university can support what you're doing, because what you're doing in transportation is truly crucial to everything else, because if transportation fails, there is just nothing that we can do in the state. So thank you very much.